welcome to episode 3 of the K.I.O.S.K Gaming Podcast. I am Outlaw.
And I am V.
And we're glad that you are here. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the delay in recordings. But brother, what you been up to, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Really working, playing some Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I have a guest in. My mother-in-law flew in from Mexico yesterday. We picked her up about 6 o'clock. My daughter finally returned after being gone for 5 months.
It was
Aside
5 months?
Yeah, bro. She took off in November.
I thought it was longer. Damn.
She took off the Thursday right before my birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been gone since then. She was due back sooner, but unfortunately, the stuff that happened with her cousin and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and my mother-in-law decided that when Sis come back in, she wanted to come back and visit again. So she's going to be in for a few months. So that may or may not hinder what we're able to do from there. But I've already talked to my wife about it. So we should be able to maintain track as long as, IRL stuff doesn't hit us again.
Yeah.
Now, how about yourself, man?
Streaming, dude. Been streaming a hell of a lot. It's been good. I finally got back into ATS, American Truck Sim, for anyone else watching that doesn't know what it is. Having a really good time, and that's one of the coolest communities I think that you can be a part of is the ATS community, because they are very, very welcoming. So I've been having a good time with that, man. It's been really, really good.
Heard that, and for those of you who want to check him out, we will have the link below. Check him out on Twitch at twitch.tv/outlaw torn14.
Yep. Yeah, I typically go live every weekday from 11 to 4 Pacific time, and sometimes run longer. Sometimes I forget to stream at 11 and it'll be like 11:30. So
you got to click that notification and be ready for it to happen.
Basically, yeah, it can happen at any time.
I heard that. Yeah, that's one thing I do but don't miss about streaming, man. You try to get that schedule down and you try to keep it, so everybody's there. And there's just days where it's like, shit, I got to do this real quick. And then you sit down and you're about to click that button and it's like, oh, hell, I got to go do this real quick. Sorry, guys, I'm going to be a little late.
Yeah. 100%. But it's been good. Oh, yeah. It's been really good.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy to see the growth, man, since you started. Like, it's been insane from it just being, me and you and your girlfriend in there to it's like, holy shit, I can't get a word in edgewise sometimes.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been good though.
Oh, yeah.
Fun though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Anything exciting been happening? Anything you had going on outside of that?
No, honestly, not really. Just planning trips and stuff like that. In June, we're Jay and I are going up to Santa Clara, which is about 4 hours, 5 hours up the way. I'm hoping I'll be okay at that point. We're actually seeing Metallica 2 nights on Friday night and Sunday night. I think it was like the 20th of June, I believe it is. So that's about the biggest thing I got going on right now, and I'm psyched as hell for it, so it's gonna be good.
Oh, I know you are. You're a huge Metallica fan, so I know that every time you get a chance to see them, it's an amazing moment for you.
It's gonna be good.
Myself, man, really. I mean, we got Mom in, or Ma as I call her. So it's going to be, when we have a chance, we're going to take her here and there and see family and try to get her out a little more, because this time I'm actually working a first shift position instead of a second or 12-hour night. So hopefully we can get her out, see some sights. It's warmer, so we can do things outside, do a little grilling. But other than that, I mean, that's we got Easter coming up, and everybody's favorite day, 420. So for you pie heads out there, smoke it up while you're looking for your eggs.
That's right.
And don't forget where the hell you hid the damn things.
Especially if just weeding them.
Oh, God. If not, Easter V will come by and find it for you.
That's right. One to help out.
Oh, absolutely. No, other than that, man, I mean, that's really, you know, we didn't have any plans to begin with, so this kind of makes it good. And I love seeing my wife happy, you know, and this is one of the biggest things that makes her happy and keeps her happy. Plus, it works out for me because, you know, she cooks and she breaks out them banging ass damn Mexican foods for me. Oh,
I saw the picture last night. I was quite jealous of what they had last night.
Yeah. I don't even know what it's called, bro. I just know it was good. That's all I know about it.
It looked good. It did look good.
All right, so our episode today, we're going to be talking about our top 5 consoles and the reasons that we like them. Just a little disclaimer, we did not add PC as a console because, I mean, really, if you look at PC, you can pretty much play any and everything, and we're both standing proof of that because we have emulators with every console you could imagine. Just about. There are some that we don't have, and all of the stuff we've done is legit. You know, all the ROMs and stuff we own, they are all legit, so there's no back ending there. But that's our main reason for not including the PC in this episode is because it's a multi-use device, and when we think of consoles, we think of gaming.
And trust me, we debated that a few times. I said, "Are we sure you want to do it?" It was a yes, and then I was like, "Are you sure?" And then it was a no. So we thought about it. PC will come later if we feel the need to do it, but this is our definitely our top 5 list. And looking at the list, we've got a lot to talk about, bro. If you want to get started, let's count it down from 5, man.
All right, I'm gonna start off with number 5, and this is gonna be an odd one because not a lot of people, I feel, actually enjoyed this console. At least, you know, based on sales, it wasn't enjoyable enough to continue it on, and that is the Sega Game Gear. I never personally owned one. I had a friend of mine, really good friend of mine growing up. He had one. For me, it was just a trip to see some of the games almost one-to-one ported and in color in a handheld device that you weren't constrained sitting there at your TV. Now, granted, back then, obviously, we didn't have the plug-up charging and rechargeable batteries. It was, you know, shit dies, you gotta go get new batteries. So
didn't that take like 6?
I think it was 6 AAA batteries.
Yeah,
I believe it was. Yeah, it was a powerhouse. But man, my first experience with it was Sonic the Hedgehog. Obviously, Sonic with the Sega stuff. That was my very, very first experience with it. And his mom ran she worked at a barber shop. She was a hairdresser, and dude, we would go over there after school on the weekend and just chill while she worked and mess around. We were right up the road from the skating rink, although we never really went. We were more into gaming and being little dicks, pretty much. I mean, we asked around everything. But man, he had that Game Gear he would bring with him while we were waiting on her to get off of work, and we would take turns playing it and see who can get the furthest short around our lives. I can't say a whole lot about it because I was young back then, but dude, that is still one of my core memories, and that's why it actually made the list, because things that can bring you back to your youth is always a good time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. I had a Game Gear. I did have one. And God, I wish I knew where it was now. I honestly have no idea. But my honestly, so this isn't in my top 5 list. I'm just gonna bounce off of a V for a bit. But my main memory of Game Gear is, and I could say this out loud because I'm pretty sure my mother's not gonna watch this. My father bought me one, and he also bought me a big ass bag, a family size bag of hot Cheetos. And it was a Friday night. I remember that, and I hid in my closet and I ate hot Cheetos and played Sonic on the Game Gear for hours on end. And I don't know why I was in my closet. I just sat in the closet, but it was that's the one memory I will always remember is eating a bag of hot Cheetos sitting in the closet. It was just such a good memory, and that might be why I'm so big. I mean, but it was just such a fun memory, man. I loved it.
That's the OG man cave right there.
That's right.
Man. That throws it way back. Let's go ahead and hit your number 5 to follow up with it. Let's see what you got there.
My number 5 is well, relatively new. It's the Series X Xbox. I started. Well, obviously I started with 360, and I just continue with the family of Xbox consoles. I've always had them. Unfortunately, this is probably going to be my final generation of Xbox because I do have the PC now. But I just love the Xbox. I've always loved the console. You know, I sold a console to get the 360, and I just love the Series X. And you know, we've talked about it before. The control's great. You know, it can play all the games that I have. I think I got like 900 games on there because most of it's backwards compatible. Yeah. So, you know, that's why I'm not getting rid of the console. You know, I thought about it. I'm like, do I really need it? But I do. There could be a game I want to play that I don't have on PC. So I'm gonna keep it. You know, that's my biggest thing is it's just so useful. Like it's just something that you have, and you know, I'll always have it plugged in just in case. You never know. But my main reason for keeping it is I think some games that don't come out for PC might have a console for.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. I guess that'll segue into my number 4, which is the Xbox One and the Series X. Yeah. I was always a PlayStation guy. And when the PlayStation 4 came out, I didn't like it. I don't know what it was about it. It didn't feel like the PlayStation to me. You know, I was on PlayStation 3. I got the 4 because, hey, it's the hot new thing. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't feel it, man. I don't know. It had to be the layout. You know, I love the old XMB that they had set up, or the cross media bar for those that don't know it. But my cousin and a couple of my other friends, they were true Xbox guys. Mm-hmm. And he got the Xbox One. I had the PlayStation 4. And I wound up going out a few months later and buying the Xbox One. Mm-hmm. And I've been true to it ever since until I built the PC a few years ago. But I got the Series X, and what I liked mostly about going from the 1 to the Series X was it was seamless, bro. Yeah. It was the same console, so you had nothing to worry about on that. Yep. The games were good. The speed was good. It was even better with the Series X. Mm-hmm. I know that they lost a lot of exclusivities to Sony at the time, but it is in the same rate. I mean, you still had good games, good playing games. Yep. We didn't have a lot of issues with them. Obviously, there's always those day ones, but you know, the games overall were just good. It was fun. It brought me to a tighter community of being able to play games with. And actually, me and you started playing together on the Xbox.
We did, yeah. Because I used to stream directly from the Xbox, and that's how we first met. Is I think it was Borderlands 3.
Yep. Borderlands 3. Well, you were playing the Borderlands with your friend Kitchen and with Jaina when I met you on Mixer, and I think we played Borderlands. I don't really remember what the first game we played on Xbox was.
I know we definitely played Borderlands, but I believe our first game we played was Division. I think it was Division 2. Yeah.
Yep, it might have been. Yeah, it was around that whole time of I was going through a downward spiral of drinking, and now that I'm out of that, it's kind of hard to remember some of those nights.
Which has been nice. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I had to get away. But yeah, Xbox, man, I can't rank it any higher. Just because I was not a fan of. I liked the old Xbox, the original Xbox. It was good. Yeah. The 360 to me seemed overhyped. While there was a lot of cool stuff and a lot of good stuff with it, I just didn't feel like it was for me. Okay. Not to mention that was the Call of Duty days, and I was on my PS3 with all the people I had already made friends with. Yeah. So I kind of stuck it out.
I understand that. I get that.
So number 4 for me is definitely the Xbox. They're both the One and the Series X because they're pretty much the same console, just upgraded.
Yeah, and as you said, it was basically plug it in. All your shit was there. You know, all your old games that they made compatible with it. That's what I love about it. That's definitely one. Like I said, one of the reasons why I'm gonna have the last one here. You know, it's gonna be my final one, but it's gonna still work. You know.
Oh yeah, I can understand that.
Yep.
Where does that put you at number 4?
So my number 4, I love the GameCube, the Nintendo GameCube. I had many games for it. I loved it. It was one of the first consoles I played when I got out of the hospital in 2006 on my first heart surgery. So it was one of the ones that got me through a lot of my days of just sitting on the couch not doing anything. It was mainly the GameCube, and I just remember it. I had all the Prince of Persias, and those were fun back then. Those were the games. But so I don't know if anyone played it. It wasn't a popular game, and I'm trying to think of the name. I've been trying to think of the name since we talked about the our Xboxes. I think it's called like Eternal Spotless or Spotless Eternal, something like that. And it's a 3D game, and basically you take the role of different characters, like a mummy. Take the role of an Egyptian, like princess, something like that. It was a really good game. I knew it was like an indie game. Not many people played it. Like I said, never got a sequel. But my main thing with the GameCube is I'm weird, and if a game kicks my ass, I'll think about the game all day, all night. I will not sleep. And when I was living in 06, like I said, down here in California, I played the game, and the end boss was kicking my ass for hours. And I couldn't figure out what to do. I ended up going to sleep. I'm like, screw this, I'm done. I dreamt about that game. I dreamt about how to beat the boss. I dreamt about the positioning of the control, the positioning of the character. Woke up the next day, one shot. Like I was done with it. I'm like, that was the weirdest dream ever, but it freaking worked, man. But I'm like that now. If I'm streaming and I'm on like a tough boss or something like that, like in a Dark Souls type game, and I keep getting beat over and over again, I will be upset if I end stream, and I usually come back the next day saying I had to take the boss offline, and I beat him.
I can't confirm that, folks. I have seen this man struggle, and then chat, being the assholes that we are, we like to give him shit, so he's already frustrated, and we just keep picking the scab on him, and or poking the wound, if you will. And there's been times where he's like, I gotta go, I gotta go get this done before I go pick up my girl, or I gotta go get dinner ready. And then 30, 45 minutes later, he's still sitting there fucking with that boss, and it's like, dude, didn't you say you have to go? Oh shit, I'm behind. But there has been times, I've seen him do it. He'll go offline, he'll come back, hey man, I had to beat it offline, but I do have a recording that I've uploaded just so everybody can see that I did it. And then we usually mess with him about that too.
I was gonna say that even if I record it, it's so Jana beat it for you. So it's I don't think I've gotten a credit of beating a boss yet. So
no, and if she's there when he streams, it's even better, because we tell him that she's secretly got the controller off screen. That's how he's able to keep up with chat. But yeah, man, the GameCube. I never owned a GameCube. I do remember playing. For me, it was NBA Street. I don't remember which one.
Remember that one.
I do remember. I'm not a sports guy in general, but when you add fun stuff to the sports games, I enjoy what's going on with it. So, for me, the GameCube was okay. The controls were a little wonky for me. I never could figure them out, probably because I didn't play it a whole lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I can respect the GameCube, man.
Yeah, I mean, I will agree with you that yes, the controls were weird. I don't know what the hell the little C stick in the yellow was all about, like, but I just loved it. I mean, it had it had the Zelda games on it, and I actually got one. I again forgot what it was called. I think it was like the Masters Edition, and I ended up getting it from GameStop. And I got it for dirt cheap, and I think that thing is worth like $500-$600 now. Like it's not a demo, but it's got Ocarina of Time. I think it's got Majora's Mask, and then I think it's got Link to the Past on it. And I was like, this is cool. Like, I was able to get my hands on it. Do I have it now? Probably not. Maybe somewhere in the closet. But yeah, I'm never gonna sell it though, because it's like a collector's. I don't think you can find those anymore. It may have even been like a demo disc from somewhere.
I may have that ROM.
Really?
I honestly may. Yeah, I may have that ROM. It's like it was the Master Quest or something like that, which we, yeah, it had multiple Legend of Zeldas on there. I believe I do have that ROM somewhere. Real quick, I'm gonna throw this in here while we're on the list. I apologize for the background noise again. My mother-in-law is in from out of town. My wife hasn't seen her in a while, so if y'all hear chit-chatting in the background, that is on my end. And I don't know if y'all know much about it, but yeah, you can't once my wife and her mom gets going, it's nonstop. Hopefully soon they'll be eating, so it'll. But yeah, that's me, guys. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, so I may have that ROM. I will take a look at that, and I'll let you know for sure. But I do know exactly which one you're talking about.
I'll see if I can find the box art for it. But I remember playing that a lot. Like I thought it was just neat to have it. And I remember, I think, like I said, I remember to the game guy at GameStop, like, this is this is an edition not many people have. So of course I picked it up. And like I said, I think I got it for like $20 maybe, but
nice.
Yeah, I know it's got to be worth something now, but I won't sell that one. Yeah.
And we can segue off of Zelda into my next console. That's the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
There are two main games that I started on Super Nintendo with, and while I never owned one at a young age, I did get to play it quite often, and obviously Super Mario World and The Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
Those two were my introductions into the Super Nintendo. I spent many a long year playing those games. Killer Instinct.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat 1, no, because Nintendo decided to edit the game for some ungodly reason, thinking that people would stick to it versus you got blood and gore on Sega. That's really the only strike I have against them. I mean, Pilot Wings, the Super Scope games, again, Killer Instinct, the Mortal Kombats. There's just so many games that were on the Super Nintendo. Like I can look back at the list now, dude, and it's just like, damn, I remember that one. Wow, I remember playing. Oh my God, damn, I forgot all about this game.
Oh yeah,
just things like that, man. So for me, Super Nintendo definitely had to hit my top 3 because that was one of my most played consoles of all time.
I understand that. Yeah, I understand that.
But yeah, dude, I honestly, I think I have an old SNES somewhere. Okay. If not, I've gotten rid of it. I wish I could find it. If I can't, then like I said, I've got ROMs, man. I've got ROMs I've ripped, so yeah. That works too.
I was gonna bounce off of what you said, but I like the Super Nintendo as well. Like I thought it was a Zelda, like you said. I think that was probably my favorite of the series is Link to the Past. Just I love that game.
That's one of the greatest.
And even the memories I've had, playing it on stream or just playing it as for the hell of it because just booted up one day. It's good time indeed. Which that'll come at a later time again, but we'll circle back to it later.
Heard that. Well, that's what I got on mine. How about you? What's your number 3?
Nintendo 64. I have really good memories of the 64. When I used to live in Palmdale, my friends and I played a shit ton of 64. We would play GoldenEye all night. We would play that game all the time. We would play Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like we would verse each other in that, and it was just it was the best times. But I remember like one of the first games we played was it was like either Wave Race or Wave Runner, one of those games.
Wave Race 64.
Yeah. And like just booting it up and seeing the water effects back in like back in the day, you're like, holy shit, like this is cool. And getting able to do that, like you said, Pilot Wings, you know, seeing the environments, you're like, it ain't gonna get any better than this, folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
And now we look, and what do we see?
yeah, exactly.
It got better.
Exactly. But no, I mean, those are my biggest things. But it was mainly like me. Like I said, me and my friends playing GoldenEye. And unfortunately, I let somebody borrow my copy of Conquer's Bad Fur Day, moved, never got it back, and I think it's like almost $100 game now. I'm like, I can't justify that. But I love if you've never played Conquer's Bad Fur Day, and you can get your hands on it for cheap. That's one of the first M-rated Nintendo games, I think, that came with game. You know, what I played with on this 64, and I'll always remember one of the bosses in that game. I don't know if you ever played it, bro. Did you ever play Conquer's?
I've seen it. I've never played it.
Okay. No. One of the bosses in that game, you get flushed down the toilet and you fight a giant piece of shit that's got corn. Nice. That's got corn for teeth, and you throw toilet paper in his mouth to kill him. It's such a stupid game, but it nice. Like for a Nintendo game, and you see like the M rating, you're like, holy shit, this is cool. I think that was one of the first M-rated games. I mean, I know they had Mortal Kombat on SNES, but as you said, it was you know, the blood was gone. Yeah. I played 64 too, man, and you threw GoldenEye out there, and it throws me back to so many memories. Between that and the Killer Instinct on 64, I thought sucked, and it was just because of the controller. The game itself was fine. Yeah. I just couldn't stand the controller. The WCW games, the WWF games. Oh yeah.
God, dude. Mario Kart 64, then the Mario Party starting. But Mario 64 itself, I wasn't a huge fan of. I thought it was a good game. I played the shit out of it, but it's not one of those games, you know, like Mario 3 and Super Mario World, where you just go back and play them and play them and play them. Yeah. Beat them, wait a while, come back and play them again. So, yeah, 64 definitely gets love. Unfortunately, it didn't make my list, but it does get a lot of love as well.
Yeah, I remember my friend getting it, and he had it first, and I remember him calling me, or you know, we had, you know, he didn't have texts back then, so we called each other, and he had Mario, and we both played it, and when I finally got my 64, he wanted me to borrow his copy because I was the better Mario player back then, and I ended up collecting all the stars for him and was able to see the final secret in the 64 version. Did you ever get all the stars?
Dude, I never even beat the game.
Okay.
It was one of those, I would go to a friend's house. Actually, it was one of my cousin's house. I would go there. We would play throughout the weekend, but we usually would play that just for a little bit, and then we fought in wrestling, because wrestling in the 90s was the big thing. Yeah.
At the end of the Mario game, I think it's either 119 stars or 120. I think it's 120. But if you collect all the stars from every level, you can go outside of the castle and go into a cannon, and the cannon will shoot you on top of the castle, and you see Yoshi for the first time in the game. He gives you 100. He gives you 100 lives, and then after he gives you the 100 lives, you think to yourself, "I got nothing else to do in this game. I have 100 lives and nothing else to do." So, yeah. Damn. And my camera's freezing for some reason, but at least it's not shutting me down like it did before. So, we'll get it worked out, but it's okay as long as y'all can hear me.
I was getting ready to mention, bro, your camera just froze. I get it. All right, you wanna move on?
Yeah, let's do it. No, dude, I'm good. I like I said, 64, 3, love it.
Hell yeah. Number 2 for me is going to be the PS3 and the PS1. PS1, obviously, first disc-based console that I played. I did play the Sega CD, but it wasn't enough to account for anything, because the games I played on there were basically just ported from the Sega Genesis, so I don't really count that. PS1, obviously the introduction into the Tekken series is where it got me started on that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the only reason I can't divide the two apart is because I also had Call of Duty on PS3, which I'm not a COD guy anymore, but you know, I had my Tekken games, and then I had my my CODs there, and you had your online and your voice chatting, and you know, oh God, Parappa the Rapper, and I really can't think of God of War was that was on PS3 and PS2.
2, yeah. I think it started on 2, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just, oh God, so many memories, man, and it takes me back. The PS1 takes me back to my younger days. PS3, just so many nights of you know, raging and raising hell and getting called racist comments and calling out racist comments. Like, for those of you who don't know, if you were in the OG COD lobbies, I don't give a fuck what you say nowadays. Everybody hated everybody, and we loved each other for it. You know, 100%. It's just the way it was. So,
I myself never played COD, but I've seen the horror stories about chat before, so I'm like, yeah, I know. I understand that.
Thank God there wasn't a lot of logging back then, because I'll tell you what, everybody would be canceled. Anybody and everybody who played COD back then, it didn't matter how nice of a person you were. You logged on, you heard that music start, you got in that first lobby, and it was fucking camping, cornered mother, and it just
went on from there.
And then at the end of the round, when voice chat was active, it was just absolutely insane.
Your mother usually came into the equation, you know.
Fortunately, I was old enough I didn't have to worry about that.
Okay, all right.
But I, you know, my wife, she did get on to me quite a few times for it. Because the kids were sleeping, or because I was getting just a little too aggressive with what I was saying, things like that. So,
I can see that. Yeah. I wish we had a video. I would love to see it, bro. That'd be funny.
No public documentation of that.
Okay,
no.
all right. Those didn't make my list, but I will give it respect that it is due. I did have a PS1. I did have a PS3 very late in life in its console generation. I think I got a PS1 mainly for Mega Man. Like, I'm a very big Mega Man fan, so I think X4 was the first one I played on there. That may have been the first one on there. And I just love it because my cousin, like me and my cousin, we would swap controls, as I said in previous episodes before. But mainly Mega Man, and then I got into Resident Evil, and it kind of snowballed from there. But as I said, I had a PS3 late in life, and I think I got it for the Uncharted series when it was on sale. Like, I think I got all 3 games on a Black Friday and the console for like $120.
Hey, that's a good deal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to catch a lot of hate for this. I'm not a fan of the Uncharted series. I played the first game and then sold it and said, not my thing. And I think I actually ended up buying a Wii with it, so I'm not sure where it happened, but I wasn't a fan of the Uncharted.
I'd say Far Cry beat Uncharted. I know they were like competitors, or a lot of people felt like they were competitors to each other, but I have to say Far Cry literally just shut Uncharted out of the water.
Yeah.
I know there's people who feel the other way. It's kind of like the Metal Gear siphon filter thing, you know. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought it up, because that's able to bring me back to that. Metal Gear on the PS1.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Resident Evil on the PS1. You know, just it's just that classic thing.
But yeah, dude, like the old Resident Evil games, like I think I had the director's cut on PS1, and that's kind of where I started with that one. But I remember it was new technology back then, right? Like, we had no idea what was going on, and my cousin that doesn't play games, which is I have many cousins, but my one cousin that doesn't play games, he actually got introduced to Resident Evil from the PlayStation era. And I remember him telling me one night when I was over there, he's like, dude, I played this game shooting zombies. He's like, I don't remember what it was called. He's like, it's a newer game with a newer system. And he was explaining it and all that stuff. And like I said, I didn't have one right away, but I did end up getting one. And then I found out what game it was, and we were talking about it. And I know he loved the series as well. I don't know if he still does, but that was my main thing. He's like, I don't know the name of the game, but this dog jumped at me and scared the shit out of me. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I now know what he's talking about.
Did you ever, on the PlayStation 1, did you ever play Silent Hill, the old original Silent Hill?
So I never played Silent Hill 1. I only started with 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. I never really played Silent Hill 2 other than that little bit when I was checking out the graphics card on here. I do plan on getting on and playing after I'm done with Assassin's Creed, which that's been my hanger for a while.
You're right. You ain't gonna be done with that for a while, bro.
I'm pushing through. I'm getting there. So, but yeah, dude, I've got 65 hours, I think was my last check on it, and I'm still discovering shit to fucking do.
I was gonna say, you're still unlocking kills and assassins and levels,
it's insane. But yeah, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 3 for me, they tied.
I get that.
I could probably put both of them at number 1, but my number 1 just kicked them out of the water.
Yep.
But before we get to number 1, we're going to get to Outlaws number 2.
So my number 2 is V's. Number 3, it's the SNES. I just love it. Like we said, the Link to the Past. I love that game, and I've always loved that game. And like I said, streaming it or just playing it, it just brings back memories of the times we did it. And I remember one stream, and this is going to be for whoever was in the stream at the time, and for possibly one other person that's gonna hopefully watch this video and be like, you're a dumbass. And I remember that. So I was playing A Link to the Past, and my buddy came in, and I ended up buying, so I eat hot stuff on stream for fun, and my buddy ended up coming in and saying, if I give you $20, would you eat a gummy bear? I told him, I said, no, I want to do it for a channel point. I want people to come in and have some fun. Anyways, it's just a gummy bear. It's a little red gummy bear. It's 9,000 Scoville. I thought, sure. 9 million, sorry. I thought, sure. I said, what? Yeah, 9 million. I'm sorry, not 9,000. And I said, what the hell? So I set it up for channel points, and I was like, okay, everyone come in, everyone donate. Well, this fool comes in, gives me $20 and says, eat it now. I'm like, well, I gotta do it now. Like, I'm not gonna say no. And I ate it, and I was playing A Link to the Past at the time, and my buddy now that came into my first stream that he ever came into, I think he stuck around because they thought I was dead. And honestly, yeah, so did the rest of chat. So I ate the gummy bear, and it was a freaking lava ball in my stomach. It just sat there and festered. And I went on break. I said, I'll be right back, guys. I went into the bathroom, and for the next 45 minutes, I passed out on the floor, and I woke up to texts and messages and everything in the stream. And yeah, I know V was there. I think V tried to call me a few times, but I didn't grab my phone. I just went to the bathroom and passed out. And my buddy that is now a really big part of the community, that was his first stream he's ever seen me do. And like I said, I think he stuck around because he thought I was dead.
I remember Bob going, is this guy going to be okay?
Yep.
And I was like, dude, I've called him, I've texted him, I've called Jaina. No, I texted Jaina. I think Jaina tried to call you.
Yep.
Ninja tried to call you. And he was like, in a nutshell, Bob was like, I'm glad I came in, but I really hope this dude don't die.
Yeah.
It was, that was not a great moment, but a great moment at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like I said, him and I talk every day now. Like we're very close, but we still bring up the story, and he's, I'm still a dumbass for it, but it was fun, man. I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. I never actually owned an SNES for a while. So I had a Sega. I ended up going Sega, and my friend went SNES. We lived across the street from each other. So every summer, I would borrow his SNES. He'd borrow my Genesis. Only game I'd ever rent was A Link to the Past. I'd play it all summer, and then get it returned, and we would swap our consoles back and all that. And I remember I got my SNES because my cousin that told me about Resident Evil, he ended up buying the console because of Star Wars. I forgot what it was. Those games are, if you've not played the SNES Star Wars games, yeah, those are notoriously difficult games. But
speed run your first go.
Yeah.
Tell us how it goes in the comments.
But I remember him him buying it, and I think the reason he got it is because they re-released like A New Hope or something like that in theaters back in the day. So we saw the movie, we got the console, we played the game, and I think that night he said, "Do you want my SNES?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." And he never played it again, but I ended up keeping it. But yes, if you've not played the Star Wars games, prepare your thumbs for hell, because those games are tough. Nintendo hard, as we say.
Oh yeah. And obviously, I mean, I spoke on the SNES a while ago, and there's so many things that could be said for it. Now, obviously, we don't want to really entail into the Switch stuff, because what Nintendo is doing with the Switch, I'm sure you probably agree that's bullshit. They're setting a bad precedence for gaming and for gaming pricing. I understand why. I do get it. There's a lot of shit that goes into it. But OG Nintendos, man, I mean, from the Famicom or the NES for those of us in the States, fuck the Wii U, the Wii, the GameCube, it was okay in its own right. Again, the controller, but Nintendo is a lot of us in our late 30s, early 40s, even mid 40s, and up to our 50s who game. We all know Nintendo. Nintendo was, when somebody would say, "What are you going to do?" It wasn't, "I'm going to go play the game." It was, "I'm going to play Nintendo." And that didn't mean, that could have been, you could play Sega, you could have been playing Atari, but it was, "I'm going to play Nintendo." That's what it was around my neighborhood growing up. Hey, you want to go play Nintendo, and then you go over there and they got a damn Genesis, and you're like, "This is Nintendo, dumbass." And, it became a part of the culture,
it did.
I could definitely respect it, and I definitely, while I don't have nothing but the SNES on my top list, I did it as a diversity kind of thing for it, because I wanted to kind of hit each genre, and I kind of looked at the broad spectrum of gaming before I chose what I chose, which is kind of like going to negate me, because my number one already falls on the list as far as the manufacturer. PlayStation 2, the number one selling console. PlayStation 2 just, again, brought it up a while ago, the God of Wars, the Twisted Metals, the Tekkens, the fuck, man. I can guarantee you, if you've ever played a PlayStation 2, there's games on there. Guitar Hero, fucking DDR, for those of us who did the Dance Dance Revolution stuff. It was like the ultimate time to be a gamer was during PlayStation 2's lifeline. I mean, there's just, the advancement in the technology, the advancements in the controllers, sleek design, although the first one wasn't really, the first version was not a sleek version of it.
The big one?
I had the big one, and I had the small one, and I had the vertical stand, for the big one. I had the multi-tap that went with it, the 16 or 32 gig memory cards that you could get, modded controllers. If it was something available for the PlayStation 2, I can't say everything, but most things I had it for the PlayStation 2 if it came out as an accessory for it. And that's my number one, baby.
And as a side note, like, can we talk about memory cards? Because I know a lot of people don't know about those, especially if it's the newer gen. But we had to save our games to memory cards, and if you lost that, you were fucked. Or you overrode it, you were fucked. Like, yeah, and it only came with like V said, the 16 megabyte or 32. So like, if you played Final Fantasy 7. you had a memory card. That's it. That was the only game on there.
The OG memory cards were 8 megabytes. Then I had a 16 and a 32. And the best part about it was you didn't have to worry, okay, do I need this much space of storage? No, they were written out like that, but they actually had little blocks. And those blocks were only X amount of size as a file. Everything was there. And if I had something done and Outlaw wanted to see it, I could take my memory card over there, put it in his console, and here we go. And check this out. I can show you what's going on here. You could copy I could copy my save straight there on the console, straight over to his if he needed it. You didn't have to worry about emails, and now email would be limiting the size of the file that you can send, or you got to put it on your drive before you can send it. Same with Discord. If you don't pay for Nitro, you can't send shit really. I mean, you can send small stuff, but you weren't limited in that capacity back then. You took your stuff, you put it there, you did it. If you lost your card, go buy a new one and start the hell over.
Pretty much, yeah. But I totally remember those. Like, it was the same with the GameCube. The GameCube had those little, the little save cards. But yeah, I mean, we have cloud storage and everything now. But yeah, back then is you lose it, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it. But the cool thing is most of the games, when you pop it open, it had a little cutout for the card at the top, so you can just pop it in there.
Yeah, they did it for every one of the games. Like you were going to buy a damn memory card for every single game you owned. It made for good times. And then when they came out with the was it the PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 that had the little attachment monitor, a little bitty monitor about yay big. Let me turn towards the camera. It's about yay big that you could connect them to the back of the console. I think that was PS1.
I want to say it was 1. I believe it was. Yeah.
But I mean, it's such an innovative time for back then. Taking technology and pushing it forward. It was amazing. And Tekken, my introduction to Tekken, my introduction to Dead or Alive. PlayStation 1 had my Twisted Metal, but playing it on PlayStation 2, the Metal Gear Solid series, that advanced so much. Siphon Filter advanced so much. Can't really say Mortal Kombat did, because they went through that weird ass 3D arena on Mortal Kombat 4, and then there was some okay games, but they weren't there.
No.
So,
I totally know what you mean on that one. But yeah, no, I remember playing that 3D Mortal Kombat. I just remember, I think I found a code or something like that in a book, and I'm not good at fighting games. Like, I'm not going to claim that I am, but I remember playing it, and I was like later at night, and I'm like, I just want to see the fatalities. Like, that was mainly the reason why you bought those games, right? Is to see people's heads get ripped off. I remember finding a code where if you type it in at the beginning of the game, it would just skip everybody's fight and just show you the fatalities. I'm like, nice. I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Nice.
That was our internet back then, was us doing it ourselves.
Oh hell yeah! If you didn't get a magazine, man, you didn't have internet. So you had to get it off of a magazine. You had to wait on the what was it, EGM mags? Who else was it? I mean, there was just so many of them. And that was the way you got all your info. That's how you got your insight and your cheats and your walkthroughs and strategies, was through the magazines.
Yeah, I mean, with I'll go with my number one now, so we can segue into it. But mine's the NES. Like, it's the OG NES. But speaking of back in the day when we didn't have that stuff, Nintendo Power, like, that was our go-to. The book had cheats, or it had a freaking maps. Like, you'd have a map and you can pull it out and be like, okay, I'm here, I need to go here, how do I do it? But it's just the NES, because like I said before in prior episodes, is me and my cousin, we would stay up all night playing it, and it'd just be random games or anything like that. But it's such a nostalgic console. Like, I if I had mine now, I would play it if I could, but I don't even know where mine is at this point. But yeah, but like
it's long gone.
But as I said, like I just love playing it. I love the fact that I had the. I just love the fact that I had it. I like it came with Mario, in the Duck Hunt game and the gun and all that stuff. But like I said, me and my cousin staying up till 3 in the morning and sleeping till 6, and then playing it again all weekend. Like those are the best times. And like I said, no internet, no cell phones. It was you figure it out, or you hear it on the bus the next morning. Like, hey, did you get here? No. How'd you do it? Oh, you go through here, yeah.
And a lot more console makers needs to go back to the way that Nintendo did it. Now, if you got the Mario and Duck Hunt or the Mario Duck Hunt and Track Meet, you had the extra peripherals, but 2 controllers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
2 controllers.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this day of the internet and yada yada and so forth and so on, but fuck that, man. There's still times where my wife doesn't play games, but I have sat down and played Zuma with her. I have played Bejeweled with her. Just games like that, just little simple stuff that, who wants to go spend 70, 80, and hell, even more than that now for a controller? Back then, you got 2 controllers. Did you ever play the World Class Track Meet that came with it? Well, that you could get as one of them?
No. I have seen it, but I've not played it.
It was so bad. It was really not good. It was fun, don't get me wrong, especially, being a kid of the 80s. It was fun, but you look back on it now, man, it was not a great game at all.
Yeah.
Control-wise. In itself, yes, but control-wise,
That's the one where you had the pad, right? You had to actually run. Yeah, and I've seen people beat the hell out of it with their hands.
We did that. We tried so hard to get the controller to work where instead of hitting 1 and 2, you would tap A and B and try to but that shit would never to run, and then you had to actually jump to come off the pad to try and clear hurdles and so yeah, dude, it was DDR before DDR, so yeah. Yeah, Nintendo does hold a special place in my heart because that was one of the first consoles I remember playing. And I say that even though in the previous one I did say the ColecoVision. You gotta remember, man, I was just a growing sperm back then. I was tiny. I was barely out the womb when I played ColecoVision. I've even played in television, and both of those consoles there go way back. But Nintendo and Mario 3 is still one of my all-time favorites on there. So yeah, I mean, I can't put it at my number 1. It probably should be, but it was in my younger days, way younger days. But I respect that, man. I can respect the NES being as your number one game or the console on your list.
I don't know if you ever played a game. It was on. They were called Bigfoot. The monster truck. Did you ever play that one? For anyone that's not played Bigfoot, if you can get a hold of a copy or an emulated version of it, you have to smash the shit out of the control to get the car moving. And it's not hitting A, it's not hitting B. You have to jiggle the directional pads back and forth. If you missed it by like your finger slipped off, you lost. Like there was no winning. You lost. You had to smash it. I remember my sister and I playing that all the time, and we would get frustrated because it was a quick like 30-second, 15-second go, but it was smashing, just like going as quick as you can. Yeah, that game was fun, but the controls were not the best.
Yeah, it was a good game. Yeah. It was a fun game. Yeah. And like you said, if you mistapped or your finger slipped off, it was a game over really quick. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's a hell of a list, man. Hell of a list. It's. I hope people can look at it and go, these 2 older guys, they really enjoy their games. It's a mix, it's a variety because. while they may not have made the list for one reason or the other, either of our lists, you know, we love games, man. You know, that's just our thing. We love video games. And I was explaining to my mother-in-law, you know, I've never been the guy that was for the streets, if you'd say. I've never been out and about. I've never been one to run the roads. If I was running the roads, I was running to another person's house that had a game that I didn't have, or going to check out a game that just come out, or spending the weekend playing a console that I didn't have, and vice versa. You know, I grew up in that time, in the time of tech and emerging tech and new things coming out and new games and new consoles. And I'm sure Outlaw can, you know, say the same. It was, what's the new thing on the street? You know, and it wasn't, didn't have to worry about drugs. You didn't have to worry about us being in gangs or anything like that. It was, you know, what game are we playing next? What game is going to hold our time and keep us out of some shit?
Oh, yeah. 100%. And you know, looking back on the list, like you said, we love games. Like, we can respect the game. We can respect the console. You know, even if we didn't have them or they weren't on the list, or they didn't make it, like, we can still respect it. You know, and if we you know, this is our top 5. You know, let us know what your top 5s are. If you have a top 5, let us know in the comments. You know, it's one of those things where it can be debated but shouldn't be, because it's your own, you know, it's your own opinion. So your top 5 is your top 5, you know, and have fun with it. You know, it's what you grew up with, what you played. And like I said, even if you didn't have the console and you played it and you loved it, put it on the list if you want. You know, but definitely let us know what you think your top 5 is. And you know, if you have a memory or reason why let us know behind it. You know, tell us. We'd love to hear it.
If you don't like the way we rated our list, tell us that too. Shit, we're basing this on feedback, folks. We are looking for, you know, just the incentive to push. We are currently episode 3 in, and right now we're doing it as a passion. You know, this is something that we love. This is something we love to talk about. We'd love to hear y'all's voice. We'd love to hear your opinion on it. Me and Outlaw has spoken a few times. It's still not quite ready, but we are looking to do some live streaming of it. And when that goes live, we will create a little video. It'll be on our social medias. It'll be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. Hey, coming up this day, we're going to do an X amount of long stream, talking video games, talking with the community, getting your insight, getting your opinions, getting your feedback. Without y'all, we're just 2 guys talking to each other and recording it.
Pretty much. And like you said at the beginning, you know, how we just used to watch each other when we streamed. I mean, it's what we're doing now, you know. But we've had good feedback, so and we appreciate that. So if you have any feedback, or like I said, like V said, let us know. Let us know what yours is, and if you disagree, if you agree, you know, tell us we're wrong. I don't care. You know, if your number 1 console's the, you know, not, you know, just the Game Gear. I mean, you're the Game Boy. It's still a respectable console, and we you know, I still have my Game Boy. I found it a few weeks ago, so I'm not gonna put on the list, but it's definitely one of the ones that I played this shit out of too. So yeah.
You can honorable mention your stuff. I mean, you know, the Jaguar, the TurboGrafx. I mean, there's just so many.
There's a lot.
And it's, you know, 30 years ago, you really couldn't have done something like this. Nowadays, there's just so much out there, dude, that, you know. I was talking to Outlaw earlier today, and we were talking about the Asus Rogue Ally, you know, and I was getting his insight on it because I'm thinking about getting one myself. Just handheld portable device. VR, I still don't think VR is where it needs to be classified. I couldn't even classify it as a console. What do you think?
In the add-on, I mean, I suppose, like, what is the I know the Samsung's got one, the Meta's Quest got one. Like I don't have one. I don't think I would ever get one, but I don't know if it's really a console. I would say it's a fad. Like it's one of those things where, you know, you go to somebody's house, you're like, oh, you have a headset, you put on for a little bit, you play, you leave, and it's probably one of those where you would be like at home, like not even thinking about it, but you played Nintendo, you played Sony, you play Xbox, you're like, oh, what'd you do tonight? Oh, I played Xbox, I played Nintendo. You're not going to be like, oh, what did you do tonight? Oh, I played with, you know, a MetaQuest game. I played, you know, Resident Evil 4 in first person. Like, you're probably not going to hear a lot of that.
It's just more of a niche, more of a novelty style thing, and I don't think that VR will ever actually move out of that market. Mostly because of the way it makes people feel. Being in there for too long, it's not like sitting down at your computer, sitting down at a console. You can't do it for hours on end. You have to take breaks. And if you're one of those who can do it, seek professional help.
It's almost like saying the Virtual Boy is your favorite device. You know, you can only play that shit for like 5 minutes, and then you're seeing red and black and white for days.
That or the Philips CDI.
Yeah,
those two. I know that was your favorite Zelda, though, right? The one on the CDI, the motion.
I wouldn't even add that into the list of the games. Yeah.
No, guys, it's been a real fun episode this time. Yeah. You know, we get it's fun in general. I mean, each episode's fun in its own right. You know, we get to talk about the things we love, and that's what keeps bringing us back to it. It just makes it well worth it, you know, to share our thoughts, share our opinions with you guys. And for all the feedback we have been getting, we are so grateful for and so appreciative of.
And as you can see, like, we are in 2 different locations. Like, as I said before, I am in California, and Vi's North Carolina. So we're doing this through Discord, and we're trying to make the best of it. But we love it so much, and we love talking about it. So we're going to figure out a way to do it. So that's you know, that's one of the things. But as V said, I think the feedback that we've been getting has just been absolutely, you know, fantastic. You know, people saying, you know, keep going, or, you know, I have a question about this, or people are finding games for us to look into. So, yeah, we definitely appreciate that. We really do. So, thank you.
Yep. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. That's all I got, bro. You got anything else to add?
I'm good, man. I'm solid.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, till next time, the kiosk is now closed.
Everybody, have a good one. Thank you.